Every insight deserves an audience. Welcome to Atypica AI. Host Kai.
The humanities are dying. That's what everyone keeps saying, right? Declining enrollment, budget cuts, graduates struggling to find jobs. But here's what I discovered after diving deep into this so-called crisis.
We're asking completely
The wrong question.
the real question isn't whether the humanities are dying, it's whether we understand what makes us irreplaceably human in an age when machines can write poetry and solve complex problems.
My research reveals something counterintuitive. Just as AI reaches unprecedented capabilities, the core skills that humanities disciplines have always cultivated are becoming the most valuable assets in our economy. While everyone's panicking about job displacement, the smartest companies are quietly hiring philosophy majors to solve their biggest problems.
Let me tell you what's really happening and why this changes everything about how you should think about education, career choices, and the future of human expertise.
The real crisis isn't what you think.
Everyone focuses on the employment statistics, humanities enrollment dropping from 240,000 students in 2012 to under 180,000 by 2022. But these numbers tell the wrong story. I interviewed deans, tech executives, and recent graduates, and here's what emerged. The crisis isn't that humanities skills are worthless. The crisis is that we've completely failed to articulate their value.
Dean Michael Wells at a major university told me something striking. This isn't about defending an abstract discipline. Every week, I get calls from tech companies asking if we have graduates who can think ethically about AI deployment. They're not looking for more engineers. They have plenty. They need people who can ask the right questions.
You see what's happening here? While humanities departments defend their existence using academic language, the market is already screaming for exactly what they produce. But there's a translation problem. The communication is failing.
Why tech giants are secretly hiring humanities majors?
Here's where it gets interesting. I've found job postings from major tech companies specifically seeking generative AI specialists with humanities backgrounds. These aren't token diversity hires. They're strategic positions solving critical problems.
Let me give you a concrete example. AI systems can generate human-like text, but they struggle with context, cultural sensitivity, and ethical implications. One tech executive I interviewed described a project where their AI chatbot for healthcare kept providing technically correct but culturally inappropriate advice. Their engineering team could fix the technical bugs, but they couldn't solve the deeper problem. The AI didn't understand human meaning beyond literal text.
That's a humanities problem.
Literature majors spend 4 years analyzing subtext, cultural contexts, and the gap between what's said and what's meant.
Philosophy majors learn to identify his and ethical implications.
History majors understand how technological changes affect human societies over time.
These aren't soft skills, they're hard solutions to expensive problems. When an AI system fails because of cultural insensitivity or ethical blindness, that failure can cost millions in reputation damage and regulatory backlash. The jobs AI can't do. I want you to understand something fundamental about where the economy is headed. AI excels at execution, following patterns, optimizing processes, generating content from prompts. But AI is terrible at the very beginning and end of the innovation process.
At the beginning, someone has to frame the problem correctly, ask the right questions, and imagine new possibilities. At the end, someone has to interpret results, understand their broader implications, and make ethical judgments about implementation. These are quintessentially human tasks, requiring exactly the skills humanities disciplines develop.
Marcus Thorne, a public intellectual I interviewed who started in literature and now consults for tech companies, put it perfectly. AI is excellent at finding answers, but it's terrible at asking the right questions.
Think about this. As AI commoditizes execution, scarcity shifts to ideation and judgment. The people who can frame problems creatively, think ethically about implications, and navigate ambiguous situations become premium assets. What this means for you. If you're a student considering your major, here's my direct advice. The future belongs to people who can work at the intersection of human wisdom and technological capability. That doesn't mean you need to become a computer programmer.
It means you need to develop the uniquely human capabilities that become more valuable as AI handles routine cognitive tasks.
Philosophy teaches you to identify assumptions and construct logical arguments, exactly what's needed to audit AI systems for bias and logical flaws. Literature develops your ability to understand narrative and meaning, crucial for designing interactions that feel authentic and trustworthy. History provides the context to understand how technological changes affect society, essential for anticipating and managing AI's broader impacts. If you're already working, pay attention to where these needs show up in your industry. Every company deploying AI faces questions about ethics, bias, user trusts, and unintended consequences. These are humanities problems requiring humanities solutions.
The institutional response.
Universities are beginning to adapt,
But most are still moving too slowly. The smart ones are creating joint programs. Stanford's Humanities and Computer Science major is a perfect example.
They're integrating AI literacy into humanities curricula, not by
Turning humanists into programmers, but by teaching them to critically and thoughtfully direct AI systems. One innovative approach I discovered is the Embedded Humanists Fellowship, placing humanities PhD candidates directly into tech company product teams. These fellows don't write code. They review AI outputs for cultural sensitivity, identify potential ethical issues, and help teams ask better questions about user impact.
The results are remarkable. Companies report fewer post-launch problems, improved user trust scores, and more innovative solutions when they have humanities-trained thinkers embedded in their development process.
Based on my research, I'm convinced we're at a pivotal moment. The companies and institutions that recognize the strategic value of humanities thinking will gain significant competitive advantages. Those that don't will struggle with the human-centered challenges that AI creates faster than it solves them.
This isn't about defending the humanities as they've always existed. It's about evolving them to meet the most pressing challenges of our time. The skills have always been valuable. Now the market is finally catching up to that reality.
My recommendation is simple. If you care about remaining relevant in an AI-driven future, develop your capacity for critical thinking, ethical reasoning, and creative problem framing. Whether you do that through formal humanities education or other paths, these capabilities will be the defining advantages of human intelligence in the decades ahead. Want to learn more about interesting research?
Check out
Atypica AI.